Being a Zillennial is weird. We're stuck between two totally different generations, like we're too young to remember dial-up, but too old to be obsessed with TikTok dances. We grew up with flip phones and Game Boys, but now we're navigating a world of smartphones and virtual reality. It's like living in a constant state of before and after. It's cool though. We get the best of both worlds. We appreciate the simplicity of the past, but we're also down with the fast-paced, tech-driven present. It's like we're the bridge between the analog and the digital. Which is probably why I ended up watching A Night to Remember, a classic baby boomer movie about the Titanic. I only learned about A Night to Remember in my adult years. Released in 1958, it was a massive hit, depicting the tragic sinking of the Titanic in 1912. This was way before James Cameron, Leo, and Celine Dion. Back then, the Titanic was still a big deal, even for people who weren't alive when it sank. It was a story that everyone knew. A Night to Remember became a cultural phenomenon, shaping how people viewed the disaster for decades to come. Okay, so the first thing I noticed was the special effects. Obviously they weren't exactly Avatar level. This was 1958, so no CGI here. Instead they used stop motion for special effects. Basically they built miniature models of the Titanic and the ocean. Then they filmed the models one frame at a time, moving them slightly between each shot. It was a painstaking process, but it created the illusion of movement. Watching it now, it looks kinda cheesy. But back then it was groundbreaking stuff. It's crazy to think how far movie technology has come. Today, we can create entire worlds and characters with CGI. We can have superheroes flying through the air, dinosaurs stomping around, and spaceships battling it out in other galaxies, and it all looks so real. A Night to Remember showed me how much things have changed. It's a testament to the creativity and ingenuity of filmmakers, both past and present. Cheesy special effects aside, A Night to Remember still got to me. The story of the Titanic is just plain heartbreaking. Over 1,500 people lost their lives that night. It's a reminder of how fragile life is and how quickly things can change. I think that's why the story continues to fascinate people even after all these years. It's a story about human hubris, courage, and the unpredictable nature of life. Those themes are timeless. They resonate with people from all generations, regardless of when they were born or what kind of special effects they're used to. Connecting the generations, bridging the gap with film. Watching A Night to Remember made me realize that even though there's a huge generational gap between us and the baby boomers, we can still connect over shared experiences. Maybe not shared experiences in the literal sense, but shared emotions, shared values. We can find the story of the Titanic compelling. We all can appreciate the filmmaking techniques even if they were different from what we are used to. It's like movies have this unique ability to bridge the gap between generations to remind us that we're not so different after all. More than a disaster movie's social commentary on the big screen, A Night to Remember isn't just about a sinking ship, it's about the people on the ship. The film highlights the social class divisions of the time. You had the wealthy elite, living it up in first class, and then you had the poor immigrants crammed into steerage. Their chances of survival often depended on where they stood in the social pecking order. It's a sobering reminder that inequality isn't a new problem. It's something that's been around for a long time. And it makes you think about how these issues still exist today, just in different forms. The power of storytelling, captivating audiences across time. Watching A Night to Remember reminded me of the power of a good story. Even without all the bells and whistles of modern cinema, the film managed to captivate me. It made me think about the people on that ship, the fear they must have felt, the hope they clung to. It's a testament to the power of storytelling. A good story well told can transcend time. Conclusion: A Night to Remember, a legacy that lives on. So yeah, watching A Night to Remember was a trip. It was like taking a time machine back to 1958, seeing the world through the eyes of a baby boomer. It made me appreciate how far we've come technologically, but more importantly, it reminded me that some stories are timeless. Stories that have the power to connect us across generations, across cultures, across time itself. And that's something pretty special.